Hi there, I'm MisterBo, and 2021 was a pretty good year for gaming, all things considered. And if you can believe it or not, we are already into 2022, and it's looking like it's going to blow 2021 out of the water in terms of upcoming highly anticipated releases. Now, usually with these videos, I go over my top 5 most anticipated games for the upcoming year. However, this year we're going to switch it up a bit because I looked at my list for last year and only 2 out of the 5 games actually released. And only one of those games kind of met expectations, that being Halo Infinite, which I've pretty much been playing non-stop since it released. So for 2022, I'm going to be going over my top 10 most anticipated games and hoping that at least 5 of these do make it out this year. Now, of course, there's a ton of other games that I am excited for, and I'm sure there's going to be a ton of games that get announced through the year that then release this year. But these are the ones that I've been waiting a very long time for or really get me interested. So starting off at number 10 is a game called Somerville. Now this is the debut title from a studio called Jumpship, which is put together from ex-members of Playdead. You might remember their games as Limbo as well as Inside. I really liked Inside when I played it, and Somerville seems to have a really cool vibe going for it. It's described as a sci-fi adventure grounded in the intimate repercussions of a large-scale conflict, and features a handcrafted narrative experience set across a vivid rural landscape. And just from the trailer alone, it gives me vibes of Inside, but it also has this weird, creepy science fiction vibe to it, and I'm really interested to learn more about it. It is set to release sometime this year, and we've only had glimpses, with our recent one being at the Game Awards in December. But it's definitely one that's on my radar, and if you enjoyed Inside or Limbo, this is probably going to be on your radar as well. At number 9 is LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga. Now this was on my list last year, and it may have been on my list for 2020 as well. It feels like we've been waiting a lifetime for this game, and we really don't know much about this game other than the couple of glimpses we've had at previous E3s. We've only had like 2 or 3 trailers for this game. Now this is sort of set to be the new direction for LEGO games. Open world, going planet to planet. I believe they've said up to 500 characters. Now, of course, we've already had LEGO games for 7 of those films, so it's going to be interesting to see how they change it up and make it different from what we've played in the past. I'm a massive Star Wars fan, and I'm a massive LEGO fan, but I feel like we've been talking and hearing about this game for so long that my anticipation is starting to dwindle. It is set to be released sometime this spring. Here's hoping for a May 4th date. At number 8, we have Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. Now this game caught me by surprise when it got announced at the Summer Game Fest last year. I'm a fan of the Borderlands games. I really enjoyed Borderlands 2 when I first played that, and I enjoyed Borderlands 3 as well. It definitely had better gameplay than number 2, but it just didn't quite grab me the same way 2 did. Now myself and a lot of other people included really enjoyed the DLC for Borderlands 2, where you basically played Tiny Tina's Dungeons and Dragons game, and they've taken that and ran with it and made it into a full-scale game, where you can make your own character for the first time in the series, as well as pick different skills and classes, as well as, for a first time in the series, use other things than guns. This time you'll be able to use magic as well as melee weapons. I think the fantasy setting here is really going to allow for some diverse things when it comes to gameplay as well as storytelling, and I'm hoping this game diverts our expectations from what we'd normally get with a Borderlands game in a good way, and hopefully this can spin off into just its own franchise. Tiny Tina's Wonderlands launches on March 25th, and I'm definitely excited to get my hands on it. Coming in at number 7 is the game Tunic, a game which again feels like we've been talking about it for years. In fact, I think it first got revealed around 2 or 3 years ago. Since then we've managed to see more, and we've even managed to play it a bit with the demo that got released. And having played Death's Door last year, which was a fantastic game, and if you haven't already played it, I highly suggest checking it out, that got me even more excited to play Tunic. In Tunic, you'll explore a hostile and intricately connected world of shady forests, sprawling ruins, and labyrinth catacombs. Fight mighty bosses, collect missing manual pages bursting with hints and original full-color illustrations, discover hidden treasures, unearth secret relics, secret techniques, and secret puzzles. It's basically a Zelda-like game where you play as a little fox, but it also has Soulsborne-like elements, similar to Death's Door. And finally, after all these years, we actually have a concrete release date, that being the 16th of March for PC and Xbox. At number 6 is Hogwarts Legacy. This is a game that was on my list last year as well. We still don't really know much about this game. We've only had that one trailer, which was back in 2020. We really heard nothing from the game in 2021, nothing brand new in terms of trailer or in terms of details. In fact, we don't really know if this game is even going to make it into 2022, with Warner Brothers' already packed schedule of Lego Star Wars, The Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League, and Gotham Knights, which are all expected for this year. Now, I'm not the biggest Harry Potter fan. I used to love playing the games though on the PS1. Both the Philosopher's Stone and the Chamber of Secrets were great fun, and I feel like the world that Harry Potter has and the vibe it has going for it really works with the RPG style of game they're going for, and that's all we really know about this game. It is an open world RPG that you're going to be exploring Hogwarts as well as the surrounding areas, and it seems like from the trailer we can either be a good wizard or even a bad wizard. Let's just hope we learn more about it soon, and fingers crossed that it actually does release this year. It is set for 2022 on Xbox, PlayStation and PC. Coming in at number 5 is a game that got announced last year, and that is Redfall from Arcane Austin, the studio behind Prey and Dishonored. It is an open world co-op FPS game, and from some rumours and leaks we've seen, it looks like it's going to be a traditional 4-player co-op looter shooter, and that ticks all the boxes for me. And then on top of that, the theme of fighting vampires really seems like a cool idea, and we've seen that this studio can put out hit after hit. While I've never played the Dishonored games and I personally didn't like Prey, I've heard nothing but good things about those games, and I know a lot of other people are excited for this game as well. The main plot of the game is that a small town called Redfall in Massachusetts is under siege by a legion of vampires who have blocked out the sun and cut the island off from the outside world, and you as a handful of survivors need to stop it. It seems like each survivor you play as is going to have a different role to fill. One being an aspiring inventor who's probably going to have a load of cool different tech and gadgets to use. Another one being a biomedical engineer who's probably going to be able to heal your teammates and be the support character. And I feel like in the last couple of years we've seen a decline in the 4-player co-op looter shooters. We've seen games like Back 4 Blood and the upcoming Rainbow Six Extraction, but they seem to be more on the horde survival style of game. But it feels like from what we've heard about this game, Redfall is aiming to be more of a Borderlands, maybe even Destiny style like game, just without that live service angle. At number 4, we have Elden Ring. Now, I've only played a couple of the Souls games before. I started with Dark Souls 1 and managed to get quite far through that game, and I really liked it. Then a couple of months after having played Dark Souls 1, Sekiro came out, and that just screamed like my kind of thing. I dived into that game, and for the year it released, that was my game of the year. Even though I didn't manage to complete it, I thoroughly enjoyed it, and that has got me really excited for Elden Ring. Now, I have managed to play Elden Ring in some of the technical tests, and it seems to be ticking all the boxes. A big open world to explore, and in the technical test, it seemed like there was basically secrets around every corner. Being able to make my character play the way I want, hopefully I'm going to be able to make them a little bit faster paced like in Sekiro. And while co-op has never been a focus of these games, being able to go into this open world with a friend, kind of explore, maybe take on a boss or two, really has me excited. And I can't wait to get into it, though probably like Dark Souls 1 and Sekiro, I don't know if I'm going to be able to complete this game. We'll have to wait and see, but I'm very excited for Elden Ring, and it's only a couple of weeks away. It launches in February for PlayStation, Xbox and PC. Now we're getting down to the nitty gritty, and at number 3 is Starfield. Now, when it comes to Bethesda games, Skyrim and Fallout, they aren't really my kind of games. Big open world RPGs that are just slightly too big for me. And they've always been in settings that I don't really care about. The only Bethesda game that I've actually had fun with has been Fallout 76, mainly due to the online co-op aspect of it. However, Starfield may be the turning point for me, mainly due to its sci-fi setting. Now again, we don't really know much about Starfield. We've had one trailer, and apart from that, we've only had a bit of information here and there. We have been told that it is going to be releasing at the end of this year on the 11th of November. We'll have to wait and see. Bethesda describes Starfield as a next-generation role-playing game set amongst the stars, create any character you want, and explore with unparalleled freedom as you embark on an epic journey to answer humanity's greatest mystery. And that seems to tick all the boxes for me. This is arguably the biggest release people are waiting for in 2022, and hopefully we don't get a repeat of something like a Cyberpunk. Knowing Bethesda's track record, this game might be a bit buggy here and there, but fingers crossed this can be a super polished, super immersive new RPG from Bethesda that sets off a brand new franchise just like Skyrim and Fallout. And I'm definitely going to be watching this one closely up until its release, and I cannot wait to dive in and play it for myself. Now at number 2 comes Gotham Knights. Now I believe this was actually number 2 on last year's list as well. And since last year, we've actually had a little bit more information about this game, and we've got an extra trailer to look at as well. Now, I am a massive fan of the Arkham games, Arkham Asylum, City, Origins, and even Knight. And while this isn't the same universe, it looks to be taking the same format that we've seen in those Arkham games and bringing it to a new generation, where you'll be playing as Robin, Nightwing, Red Hood, and Batgirl. Now, Gotham Knights just seems a little bit more interesting to me than Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League. Unlike the Arkham games though, this is going to be more of an open world RPG game where you're basically tasked to go and take down the Court of Owls. And as you progress through the story taking on famous villains like Mr. Freeze, you're going to be unlocking new skills for your character of choice. On top of that, this game will also feature up to 2-player co-op, meaning you can play through this whole game with a friend. You could be Robin and your friend could be Batgirl. Now this is being made by the same studio that made Arkham Origins, and I know a lot of people have their feelings on Arkham Origins, but I actually really enjoyed it, and I'm excited to see what WB Montreal can do on their own, not tied to a universe they didn't create. They're starting fresh here and they can make their own rules, and it seems from all the trailers that we're getting that they really have an idea for what they want, and I'm just hoping they can stick the landing and deliver it. Again, this is a game that we don't currently have an official release date for, but we do know it is going to be coming sometime in 2022. If I was to guess, probably sometime in the back half of the year, and it will be on PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. And that brings us to my number 1 most anticipated game for 2020. This is a brand new game that was only just announced last month during the Game Awards, and it is Arc Raiders. Arc Raiders is the first game from a brand new studio called Embark, which has been built up by former EA boss Patrick Soderlund, so this team definitely has some experience behind them. Arc Raiders is a free-to-play cooperative third-person shooter where you and your squad of raiders unite to resist the onslaught of Arc, a ruthless mechanized threat descending from space. And that's all we really know about this game other than what we got from the trailer, and I think this just looks super cool. The trailer gives me vibes of Destiny 1, Star Wars, and even some of the art from artist Simon Stalenhag. And the futuristic sci-fi space but with a retro twist is really up my alley. And the gameplay described here really reminds me of a game I played a couple of years ago called Generation Zero, in which you and a group of friends were put into this massive open world and basically just had to fight against these giant robots that were overtaking. Now that game wasn't executed that well, and it seems like this game, Arc Raiders, is going to take that same kind of idea and hopefully execute it a little bit better. And from Arc Raiders' website, it seems like we're going to be scavenging around this ruined past and wielding tools and gadgets to help outsmart the enemy. Like the rest of the games on this list, I'm going to be keeping a very close eye on Arc Raiders. It is set to release sometime in 2022 for PC, PS5 and Xbox Series X and S, a next-gen only game, and hopefully that'll mean this game is able to thrive and not get held back by some of those older generation consoles. So there you have it, those are my 10 most anticipated games coming in 2022. Some of them may have surprised you, some of them may have not. Let's just hope, fingers crossed, that they all do make it into this year. Of course, this is just my list of 10 games that I'm excited about. I'd love to know in the comments below which games you're excited about. Was there anything on my list that you're also excited about? Or was there a game or two that I left off my list that you can't wait to play? This time around, at the end of the year, we will revisit this list and we'll take a look at seeing which games did come out and if they managed to meet my expectations, so make sure you stay tuned for that at the end of the year. If you enjoyed this video, then click that like button, and if you aren't already, consider subscribing for more gaming content and coverage. Apart from all of that though, thank you for watching and for hanging out with me, I do super appreciate it. Hopefully I'll catch you around, but until then, make sure you take care. Cheers.